Hope you enjoyed the lovely music, the lovely theme music of the In the Spotlight radio show. Welcome again, and we invite those of you who wish to view via our Facebook Live. We are live now on my page. We'll switch around to some of the other pages in just a moment. But welcome and thank you for your patience. As I said, this is the very first time this has happened, that the phone decided it was updating tonight. And I've never had this happen before, so that should tell you how extraordinary this guest tonight is. Welcome again, everyone, and thank you for your patience. This is the In the Spotlight radio show. They were waiting. Yes, Facebook viewers, I'm sorry. I do apologize. We do have quite a following, on social media. So we had to ensure that the social media end of the broadcast was ready and waiting and available for them to be able to view the program. Some of them, that is their preferred option. So yes. Okay, we're back now. I guess with all the updates going on, it's doing some more updates, and so I had to just pause some stuff there and get ready to get things going. Prince, good evening.
Good evening to you, Fidana. Good evening to all of my fans, I should say.
Yes, indeed.
Family members, my co-workers, for sure. Those who are overseas in Dominica, family-wise, that is. And to all of your fans.
Yes, we have quite a bit of them too.
And of course, Crispy's asked me to shout them out, so I'm doing that.
Okay.
I hope they're listening and following the program as well.
Well,
so how are you?
I am well. I'm a little just not very happy with what was going on with the phone and this updating thing. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason. Let's not question why this phone decided to misbehave tonight. The point is, we're alive on now, and we're going to have a wonderful program.
Wonderful.
Yes? I want you to just show the Josephine Gabriel bottle of wine, just to give them some, some PR there, and to thank them for providing us with that wine for you, and also for the water. I see you came with your own 12-liter water.
Okay, yeah.
But, we also provide water for our guests. Compliments, 12-liter. So welcome again, everyone. So it looks like we're having an 8:30 start. It's just that we started, we're starting at 8:30, but we're gonna have a wonderful time with Prince Saint-Jean on the In the Spotlight radio show tonight. Now, Prince, persons might be wondering, but what made Prince qualified to be on the In the Spotlight? But before you answer that, I'll say this. I have vowed to give everyone with a story an opportunity to sit here and to share their story with us. We recently sat together at the DBS School Reading Competition Finals, and I thought we did a wonderful job in adjudicating the winners of that competition. And I think generally, people were happy. So that's one of the things that you do. It was a pleasure doing it with you. You were far away from me, but you were in between two other ladies. I was towards the end. But overall, I think we had a wonderful time.
So I served as a judge initially at the start of the competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so it may have been your first time.
Never.
But
first time
for this leg.
Well, the thing is that I in the past I've not judged the other legs. Okay. They always bring me in for the finals. Okay. I guess probably my schedule is probably a little bit more tighter than yours. I'm afraid.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, nothing to do.
Yes, so we did have some fun doing that, and those children, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Very, very strong competitive readers.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think they upped their game as we moved along to the other legs.
Oh, so you would have experienced
that. Yeah, we gave them feedback, and they took those feedback,
and they perfected their skills for the day of the final.
Yes.
Prince, I want to begin by finding out from you. You're very fascinated with Britain, and I guess you went there to study and so on. But your first name is Prince. Is there a story behind that?
I think there was this debate of naming me between my godmother and my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think being the last son of my mother, I'm probably the cutest. I figured that he wanted to, make some sort of exception.
Are you saying that princes are naturally cute or handsome or good looking?
Yes, because everyone's dying to marry one. So obviously, yes, somehow a prince is a charming person.
Are
that
you?
want to hook up.
Are you?
Yes, inner and outwardly, I am a charming person.
Inner and outwardly, you're a charming person. So you think that the name Prince
goes with the territory, goes with the person.
It embodies you, the person that you are. Do you have a middle name?
Gregory. Well, actually, my name is Gregory Prince.
Okay.
Senja. For some reason, when I left primary school, the secretary at the Portsmouth Secondary School, she's deceased now, figured that I should be Prince Gregory instead of Gregory Prince. So I stuck with that.
You stuck
but
with
on my official document, it's Gregory Prince Senja.
Gregory Prince Senja. But I suspect you prefer the Prince being the one in the forefront.
Somewhat.
Okay, Prince, we're going to get to know you a bit. So I really wanted to touch on the name because I thought to myself, his name is Prince. He must feel like he's a prince, an actual prince. But yes, he mentioned about the cuteness and everything that goes with that. So you should know that he must be pretty happy with his name, Prince. You are from the town of Portsmouth. That is where you're from.
Yes.
But you were not born there.
Can we leave the born part out for now?
Really?
Yeah. The mysteries.
You want the mystery to go later on in the program. So Prince is dictating what I should ask him when. Can you all believe that? But that's fine, Prince. We can leave that for later on in the program. You think it's a mystery? I didn't know. I didn't know for a while.
Most people think that I was born between Antigua and Dominica.
Born between
Antigua so they figured
and Dominica.
Probably French, Antigua or Dominica.
Okay.
I can see Daniel Mary's morning.
Yeah. And Miss Anna.
Yeah.
Yes. I can see their faces. They're going to start messaging me soon. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so we'll leave that for a little later on. But you're from the town of Portsmouth.
Yes.
Tell us about Portsmouth, Prince. Like,
historic, trend-setting.
Trend-setting.
Yeah. Of course, I'm the first archivist from
yes,
town.
Yes,
so of course they're trendsetters. Vibrant, we have one of the best, one of the best tourist destination in the Archivist National Park, and of course the Indian River. Our beaches are to die for, and of course when it's time for that action, everyone flocks to Portsmouth.
What do you think is the main difference between Portsmouth as the town and Roseau the city? Many times you hear people saying that Portsmouth actually has more economic activity than Roseau. What do you think are some of the main differences, or how would you rate Portsmouth compared to Roseau as the city?
Well, Portsmouth is the town, Roseau is the capital city, and of course all of government businesses, all of government operations take place in the city and not in Portsmouth. Portsmouth is really the supporting town to Roseau. More can be done to actually accommodate a lot more government transactions, but it is what it is.
All right. So you speak of the Cabrits, you speak of Indian River as two of the main tourist attractions that allow that town to stand out.
And of course our beaches.
Your beaches, but there's still quite a bit of economic activity though in Portsmouth. that takes place. We know that Ross is no longer there, but outside of that, generally Portsmouth is pretty
It's pretty
active.
much vibrant
Yes.
a community. Of course, we have secondary schools.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a recent secondary school, which is the St. John's Academy, and of course, it's still open. So that is an indication that we're providing the top class learning ability or progress and development to the town and outskirts.
Mm-hmm. What part of Portsmouth are you from?
I live in Zigak.
Zika.
Yeah. That's where the hospital is, the fire station is, the Roosevelt Douglas Primary. Yeah.
Okay, tell me about the Zika area itself.
Well, we are close to the Benjamin's Park,
Mm-hmm.
and it's easy for us to run across to the park for any event. An event not necessarily mean sporting or festive. It could be in the event of an earthquake. So the park offers this wide space that you can gather.
Okay.
And of course, it served us well during after the passage of Maria. That's
How
where
so?
helicopters landed
Yes.
for distributing water and food stuff. Yes.
Okay. All right. Prince, let us get to know you some more. You want to leave the part as to whether you were born in Antigua, in Dominica, or there in between for a bit later on in the program, and we'll work with that.
Yes.
We'll work with you on that. I don't often allow people, the ooh.
And again, it's a special night, historic
It's
night.
right.
You can allow.
It is. But Prince, tell us about you. How would you describe yourself?
In one word or?
In many words.
Oh, well, quiet,
Mm-hmm.
creative, jovial, if I can use my name somewhat, gregarious,
I like that.
individual, with an eye for detail
Mm-hmm.
and a photographic memory.
A photographic memory. So you remember very well.
Yes.
Did that help you through in school?
Yes, it did.
Well, yes. So you see something, you don't necessarily
Have to
need to write it down.
No.
It commits to memory.
So when I would be at the library in the UK, I would go through so many books that I remember, okay, page 26 had this, or page 75 had this, or page 132 had this.
That has to be a special skill.
Yes. So I'm also dyslexic, which would be surprising, that I think helps with the photographic memory.
Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know, tell them what dyslexia is.
Dyslexia, wow, for me is not an inability,
Mm-hmm.
it's a capability
Mm-hmm.
that makes you look at learning or understanding stuff
Mm-hmm.
in the reverse,
Mm-hmm.
not straight on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think people who are dyslexic see things
Differently.
differently,
They're very creative.
almost back to front
Yeah.
or inside
Yeah.
out or
They might
whatever.
be slow in achieving something,
Mm-hmm.
but once they get it from the behind, going forward, they're okay.
Okay,
But like I said, it's a capability, not an inability for me.
I'm almost this dyslexia, wanting to look up the definition. So dyslexia is said to be a common learning difficulty that can cause problems with reading, writing, and spelling. It's a specific learning difficulty, which means it causes problems with certain abilities used for learning, such as reading and writing. Unlike a learning disability, intelligence isn't affected. So that's important. So the intelligence is not affected.
No. And strangely enough, I'm a strong reader
Mm-hmm.
and writer. In as much that I didn't, another thing you're going to learn about me is that I lasted 1 year at preschool. So it was a waste of uniform and everything else.
Oh, how so?
Because I was already...
You lasted 1 day at preschool?
Yes. I was already reading at grade 6 level, somewhat. So, my cousin who raised me in Antigua, she was the Sunday school superintendent for our district. So I wasn't raised Catholic. That's another thing you learn about me. And because she was the Sunday school superintendent, we had Bible, morning, noon, and night. So we could pronounce words like Nebuchadnezzar, yeah, at that tender age. So preschool for me would be a no. I mean, at preschool you know,
it was
ABC,
useless.
yeah.
And you were already reading by
at
then.
grade 6 level. The other thing is my uncles were secondary school teachers. So they would practice their lessons on us. So we learned literature quickly, and we learned history quickly, geography quickly, because they were practicing their school lessons on us. This affected me when I went to secondary school in a positive way, because some of the books that were covered with my uncle at 6, 7, they became the text that we were using at secondary school.
So you breezed through that.
So for literature we did Biting by Cecil Gray, Biting 1, 2, and 3, first, second, third. Couple of books, so it was
easy breezy for you.
At one assembly one time in secondary school, they had this special assembly, and I wasn't really bothered. We were just talking, and they said, we're going to call the following students who have performed well throughout the term. So I was like, okay, for instance, a part of that, so okay. And then we went on talking during the assembly, and then they said, Prince, and so I was like, what? For what? And they said, you come first in your class? I was like, what? And then I realized how much my uncle's time with us had impacted us somewhat.
So when they removed you out of preschool, what did you do?
I stayed home and played
and read
Bible stuff.
More Bible stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. So you did not go to preschool?
No.
One
day.
One day. So you don't know what the preschool experience is like?
No.
So how long did it take you then to get into primary school?
Well, we go at the accepted age.
Okay.
Yes.
So you just have to stay home,
yes,
reading Bible stories and waiting for your time to come for you to go to primary
school. And then I moved to the Greenway Primary School, about 10 minutes walk from where we live. And there I was also excelling so fast that they removed me from one of the classes and placed me in a special class for those of us who were very bright. Yeah.
So did dyslexia contribute to all of that?
Well, I didn't know I was dyslexic at that time.
How did you find out?
When I was big, I was old enough, I was already working.
You were already working? Yeah. So what happened that made you realize something is not right?
Yes, I would be like, something doesn't make sense. I can read well, my comprehension skills is good.
But yet still.
Yeah. But there was something nagging at the back, because I realized that why can't I understand formulas normally? Normally in quotation marks. Why can't I understand formulas? Why can't I understand things that go in a particular order? Right. So I would understand in the reverse of that. And it's strange to any normal person. So that's how much it has impacted.
So what did you have to do then to discover what was wrong?
Well, there was a guy who was trained in dealing with that.
Okay.
So he visited Dominica, Clement, Yes, so we had some sessions. Yes.
And then you realized that?
Yes.
How much does it affect you now?
Not so
much. Not as much. Is it because you're not dealing with like mathematics and formulas and so and more reading?
Yeah. Because I now have to do more mathematics because I'm preparing to do the GRE exam. So
the GRE exam. You'll tell us more about that later. But Prince, we still want to know a bit about your family. So you're going to have to tell us sometimes and some things that may reveal, where it is that you were actually born. But we need to know your roots about you.
So I have 13 siblings.
13? 13.
It's combined mother and father. My mom has 6 of us, 3 boys and 3 girls. And my father has a lot.
Has a lot.
Yeah.
You don't have a number?
13.
13.
Yeah.
13.
So he has 8 with his wife and 4 others outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And who are they? Tell me about your
So they are scattered around the United States.
I meant your parents.
Oh.
Yes.
My father's dead. He died
your
when
father.
I was 16.
May he rest in peace.
Yes.
Okay.
My mother's alive. She's not listening, I hope. And my siblings are across the United States. St. Martin, Guadeloupe. And yeah, St. Martin, Guadeloupe, United States. Yes, Dominica, Antigua and Barbuda. Yes.
I'm just seeing a former guest popping on here, saying good evening to us, Helen Ray. Good evening to you, Mrs. Roy. Yeah, I'm happy that you can make some time to tune into the program, even if you're not very close. So happy to have you. And all the other folks who are on, it's really a pleasure to have all of you on this evening. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Fudina F. Frampton. And make sure you follow our social media platforms. But thank you for joining us. People talking about being proud of you, their Prince, and I think they have absolutely every reason to be very proud of you.
When I followed Nelson Roy's story, there are some similarities in terms of academic achievement and really making that determination to really be successful. Yeah. So we share similar story.
Interesting.
Yes.
So so we were talking a bit about the family, but generally, Prince, you're gonna have to bring it in. Tell me about your actual roots, the roots of your.
So okay,
let's just get it out of the way.
So I was born in Dominica. I went to Antigua when I was 5 months. So my father took me to Antigua.
You were born where?
In Dominica.
You were actually born in Dominica? Wait, Prince. Wait. We have to make sure we get that correct. Because we had a whole Facebook post and I was convinced that you were born in Antigua. And post after that, when some of your good friends on Facebook want to give you fire, is Antigua they say you were born?
No, I was born in Dominica.
You were born in Dominica. Okay.
Went to Antigua when I was 5 months.
Okay.
And came back when I was 10.
I see. So Prince, you never corrected any of these people?
No, I'm Antiguan, Dominican.
Whatever it is, it does not really matter to you though.
No,
all you know is you're Dominican, and that's what matters. So let's get it clear, people. And let me tell you, folks, for those of you who are not part, listen, Facebook has this clique, or this crew of people that are always there tormenting each other, you could say, literally tormenting each other. Oh my goodness, Daniel said lies.
He shouldn't be following though. He said he wasn't going to follow.
Exactly,
so
right?
He shouldn't ask any questions.
I agree. So listen, folks, those of you who don't know that part of this gentleman who is here, Prince is very popular on social media. And, sometimes we wonder how he's able to comment and react to just about everybody's post. We don't know when he gets the time, but he does. And then some time ago, there was this whole discussion with many, many comments about where Prince was from. And I think we all concluded, based on the influence of one particular person, I'll call her Anna tonight, we were all convinced that Prince was from Antigua. And it turns out that he was born right here in Dominica. Okay. Yeah, that's a shock. I think that's a shocker for a few of us.
And as we go through the evening, you will hear more shockers.
I'll hear more shockers, yes. So you went to, so what was the reason for you going to Antigua after 5 months? Did your mother move?
No, my mother was a huckster at the time.
Okay.
So my father felt it necessary to take me to Antigua so she could, continue with her trade.
Okay.
which was very good for me. I'm happy I did that experience. Yes, so I came
So
back.
who were you staying with in Antigua outside of your father?
My grand cousin.
Okay.
Yeah. So she brought me up from the 5 months to the 10.
To the 10 years. So what was that like though, Prince?
Wonderful. Wonderful experience. Well, like I told you earlier, I learned to read very quickly because she was the Sunday school superintendent for the district. And she instilled quite a few values and stuff into us. Those of us she raised.
And when you say us, who were some of
So
the
there were
people?
others that, my other cousins, that she looked after because their parents were at work or overseas. So she really did a fantastic job raising us. She initially died some years later in the United States.
Okay.
Yes.
Were you able to go to the funeral?
No, she died when I came here as 10, started primary school, high school. She died when I was in high school.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you could not go to the U.S. to the graduation at the time.
No, to a funeral.
To the funeral. I'm sorry. To the funeral at the time. I'm sure that saddened you.
Quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what if you were to tell us about her, that lady who grew you, we could say, up to the age of 10, what do you remember about her?
A strong Christian believer, a strong church person, no nonsense person, a lady of class, a gentlewoman, yet firm, strict, loving, kind, generous.
And even at that young age, Prince, what is the one thing that you would say that you took from her, you took away from the time that you spent growing up with her?
I took away a lot. To be patient, to pray a lot, and to wait. Yeah.
To be patient, to pray a lot, and to wait. To have patience there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So after that 10 years, what was the decision to bring you back to Dominica?
So, all of our children lived in the US. They started their own families, so obviously the traditional thing would be to file for their parents. So they did that, and we were not too pleased with that because we're not going to lose someone at that time. And because of that, I started misbehaving because we were so attached, we didn't want her to go and leave us. So we were like, I personally misbehaved quite a bit. So they called my mom and they said, okay, I am moving to the US, so you're going to have to take him to Dominica. Another thing why we didn't want her to go is because as children we were brought up in this privileged home, so we were the envy of our
your neighbors and your friends.
But everything came from the US. Every gadget, every new stuff came from the US. So the first thought was, can you imagine now she's leaving and we're not going to see that anymore. So it kind of, somewhat. So people think that I am uppity and no, I'm not. I'm a very normal, regular guy.
And you see, and you taking that to the bank.
Yes.
Yes. So you're not uppity at
all.
all.
Contrary to what
so
the
people
fans have been saying.
Contrary to
after
what
the program, I'm going to
saying.
walk differently in the town and in Roseau. I'm the same guy.
I can show you some of the messages in my inbox.
The program. The same prince after the program.
The same prince after the program.
Yes.
So yes, go ahead.
So when I came to Dominica, I came on a boat because my mother was doing upstream, so obviously she brought me on the boat that she returned to.
Right.
I didn't know anything about Dominica. I had no idea what Dominica was or what it looked like.
So you had never returned within the period that you had gone to Antigua?
No. And when we got here, it was early morning and I saw the mountains. I was like, okay, this is not Antigua for sure. It's because Antigua is flat, relatively flat. Dominica is like mountainous. Then we got home to Tukari, because that's where she lived at the time.
I see.
And it was in the night. So I heard the sea, the waves crashing on the shore. I was like, okay.
So you mean by the time you got home, because you said you got there in the morning and there
so she had to do all these other transactions and stuff like that. And transportation back then was not as it is now. So it was relatively different.
Right.
So I heard the waves crashing and I thought, okay, this is like Antigua. The sea's right there. So I went to bed, excited, like next morning, straight to the beach. I got up and I ran to the beach. And I froze because I realized you guys are black sand. Antigua is pink and white. So I was like, oh. So I made a turnabout and I just ran back home. I was like, ah.
So you were disappointed because the sand was black?
Like, black sand. Who has black sand? Remember as a child,
yes,
I didn't understand the whole geography of volcanoes and yeah.
So you went back?
Yes.
Alright, so
it took me about a month to actually go in. I was like, no, black sand, no. Because if Antigua is white, white, you can probably walk for about 10 feet and still be able to see.
Okay.
Black sand, you can't see anything.
So how did you? So you woke up in the morning and then you decided you wanted to do it. You were very excited about that. You got disappointed. What else disappointed you, Prince? Compared to what the life you had experienced. And I'm happy that you can remember some of this, even at the age of 10, 11, you can remember, your experience.
I could walk to school in Antigua. I couldn't in Dominica.
Okay.
Because at the time we went to Clifton Primary, so we couldn't do that. The black sand was horrible at the time.
Black sand. Gotta get over that black sand.
I could walk in Antigua, I could walk from my home to St. John's.
Okay.
We couldn't walk from Tukari to Portsmouth or Tukari to Roseau. Initially, I did walk from Portsmouth to Tukari. We'll get to that story in a bit. School was too far. The system was... I think I rebelled a bit because I had moved from Antigua, from a select class, to now the normal...
So that's what I was going to get to, what was the difference in terms of your lifestyle and what was available to you in Antigua compared to when you actually got to Dominica?
Okay, so remember I told you that we had this American...
So
everything was easy access. Dominica, you had... it was a struggle.
It was a struggle.
So, if you had cereal and all this other fancy stuff,
in Antigua?
Yeah, in Dominica, it's like the breadfruit cream and the roast cocoa and the stuff like that. And to this day,
Prince, don't make me forget I'm actually hosting a So guys, let him have a sip of water. So you came from your life of cereal.
Not really opulent, but
the
regular American Caribbean kind of vibes.
Yes. The barrels came in, with the canned goods and the Kellogg's cornflakes and the Cheerios and all the other things. And then you get to Dominica and ain't none of that.
No.
Instead, you enjoying roast cocoa,
and
boiled plantain and your fish.
And I was introduced. I loved fish because Antigua is a very strong, vibrant fishing community. I got introduced to corn. I was like, no, that's another thing I didn't like.
Is that the fish that looks like the snake?
Yeah, it's eels and eels actually. So that, and then new religion now because remember I was raised Pilgrim Wesleyan Holiness.
Pilgrim Wesleyan Holiness.
Yes. Okay. So that's a Protestant organization, and now have to be learning to become Catholic. So that was one of the what was a shocker for me, but it was acceptable in that form. I didn't actually start Roman Catholicism when I got here. My mom allowed me to go to the Pentecostal church, which was not too far.
Okay.
For a time.
A period of time.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then eventually you had to move to Catholic.
Yeah.
But what are you now?
Roman Catholic.
You're Roman Catholic, so you remained
Yes.
in the Roman Catholic
So
Church.
I was the first communion.
Yes.
That was the worst day of my life. Napoleon said his first coming was the best day of his life. Mine was the worst.
Why so? How so?
So, Dominica again.
Mm-hmm.
My clothes came in on Saturday from St. Martin.
I know back then in St. Martin you used to get everything,
The
right?
shoes came in on Sunday morning. So I had to go to the house to get the shoes. Wait for the boat to do everything and get the shoes. Now, remember it's Sunday, first communion day.
It's early, but
So
8
if the
o'clock, 9
shoes-
o'clock?
No, it was around 10.
Okay.
So if the shoes didn't fit,
Yeah, our
then,
problem.
and it's Sunday, everywhere in Dominica's closed that day. So I had to walk from Portsmouth to Curry, where my first communion was being held. And
Oh my, I'm already feeling sad for you.
yes, when I got there, my mother and a neighbor had gotten into an altercation.
Oh my.
The police was involved.
Eh?
And the person she got into the altercation with was another police. My first communion kick fell. My shoes were squeezing.
Oh, Prince.
But on the Saturday, the worst thing, the most shocking thing happened.
The day before?
Yes. So we went to the traditional confession and so, and rehearse how we come in and place your hands and everything. And the priest and the catechist got into a twaka.
But Twaka was surrounding you, my Prince.
And the words she used, you were like, what? This lady couldn't be the catechist. And she left us there with the priest, and the poor man was wondering what should he do? Should he continue with the practice where he doesn't know
What to do?
So she left, and we were on our own, and we figured out what we should do. And so we got ourselves ready in gear, did our own rehearsal, and then get ready for Sunday, which was a horrible day.
It was just horrible
Yes.
altogether. But it was your first communion, right? Not
Yes.
confirmation.
No, my first communion.
But how did it work out in the end?
Oh. Well, we went through the whole ceremony.
But you made it in time for the
Yes,
ceremony,
yes, yes.
in spite of everything that
Yes,
happened before.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you made your first
Relieved
communion.
when it was over. Yes.
Did you go around with your thing, with people giving you money?
No, we didn't do that. We went to particular others when we communion, first communion first, went to their own parties and they came over.
Okay, to me, I swear, when I made first communion, people gave us money.
Oh, not in our time.
Not in your time?
No, really.
Wait, not in our time is around our time, not much difference.
No, I mean, but I don't think.
Okay, guys, I'm sure some of the people on the live remember when they did either first communion or confirmation. People gave you money. It was a normal thing for people to give you money.
I remember that.
You didn't get no money.
No.
Not no $2 or $5 or nothing. Alright, if my sister Gail is watching, I'm sure she'll remember that we got money when we made either first communion or confirmation. One of them. So Prince, so that was an incredible memory for you. And you don't forget it.
No, because it was a horrible day.
It was a horrible day. Already you had come from Antigua and to a whole new lifestyle. Nothing like what you were accustomed to. Yeah.
And when I went to primary school that first time, I rebelled because I was like, they tell me I have to do an exam now to take me to secondary school. Like,
So you're talking about the common
Common
entrance?
entrance.
So you didn't know about that before?
No.
So the school you were going to in Antigua, what would happen when
You sit an exam, similar to the common entrance exam, but then
okay.
we were being prepped for that
Okay.
to go to a particular school. So I would have gone on to St. Joseph's Academy.
Okay.
The sister school would be, the brother school here would be St. Mary's.
It's academy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were being prepped for that. When I got here, so that dream is gone already. And I'm in a new primary school. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to really try to pass this exam. I did attempt it. I didn't pass it because that time you were selecting a particular group
Okay.
or a number. Yeah, so you could actually fail common entrance.
So is it that you were not familiar with the material?
No, because it was Dominica centered somewhat. Yeah.
Okay. So you failed?
Yes. Spitefully, yes.
Spitefully?
Yes. It was like I was rebelling that outcome. I was taken to Dominica.
You didn't like that?
No.
So you were just being bad.
Yeah.
You started being bad in Antigua. You started rebelling in Antigua and you brought it to Dominica, especially the environment that you were brought to. How long did it take you, though, Prince, to adjust?
The second year, or second attempt at the common entrance exam, it was quite, I was determined, okay, I made up my mind that I'm going to have to pass this thing to get to secondary school. So I risked myself, hit myself to slaps and did that.
You shake up yourself?
Yeah.
And you passed this time?
Yes.
Okay. And
because
there
was a JSP program back then.
I remember JSP.
People frowned on, there's a certain stigma associated with JSP that you didn't really learn.
They're like not the very smart people.
Yeah. So we were like, JSP, no. Secondary school. So that was another motivating factor.
Okay.
Not the right thing to do, but yeah, it served the purpose somewhat.
So you sat the common entrance and passed and got into what secondary school?
Portsmouth Secondary.
Portsmouth Secondary.
So my dream of St. Joseph Academy was gone. So I was looking forward to going to the St. Mary's Academy.
Okay.
And my mother said, well, you can't hop on a bus from Portsmouth to Rose as a child. The secondary school. Now it's quite easy. It's easier now, but back then no. So I had to be registered at the Portsmouth Secondary School.
Okay.
Where I did my 5-6 years.
And you were not happy about that either? Initially.
But by the second term I was
fine.
comfortable with
you were good.
Portsmouth Secondary. Yes.
And were you adjusting then to life in Dominica?
Yes, but I would say about 70% adjusted.
70% adjusted. Yeah. When did you get fully adjusted, Prince? It took you some time?
By fifth form.
By fifth form.
Yeah.
You were just about fully adjusted. Yes. What about the lady that you stayed with? Did you stay in contact?
Yes, we did. She wrote. Often we communicated.
Well, you should tell her to send me barrels to Dominica for you.
Well, she did send money.
She did send
a lot of money, yeah.
She sent a lot of money.
Yes, she sent yeah.
Regularly.
Yes.
She sent you money.
Yeah.
Well, tell her you wanted to continue the lifestyle of the cereal and the canned goods.
She sent the money, which was
adequate.
Yeah.
It was adequate.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, Prince, listen, this is just incredible. So what were your years of high school like?
Exciting, some misery, because I didn't like, that happened, no, I love all my teachers. Wonderful teachers. They took care of us, they made sure that we really achieved. Quite a few of them are still alive.
Okay.
My geography teachers was Mr. Emmanuel Nanton, for sure.
Okay.
He's alive. I had Joy Fabian and her husband, Grace Watty, she's now retired. Cynthia Aaron, Muriel Joseph, Brian John Baptist. Quite a few of them, yes.
And what about friends? What friends did you making?
Well, from first to fifth, we always bonded. Some of my friends are still, they're still friends today. We are involved in quite a few activities. So we maintain that contact. Those who are away, we still maintain that contact. When I got to fourth form, a math teacher came, which I didn't like at the time. I felt he couldn't teach maths. And being dyslexic, well, now I know I'm dyslexic.
So it wasn't the maths teacher didn't have the problem, it was you.
Yeah, so this guy can't teach. And he was fresh from college, sixth form community. I was like, so I got up and I walked out of the class. And then he took me to the principal, and the principal said I should apologize. I was like, no, he can't teach.
But he wasn't the problem.
How
You
did-
were the problem.
How you didn't know he was? My first math teacher was Brian Joseph. I had no problems with Brian.
Okay.
First, second, third. Fourth, I should have a problem with this new one. And so I never passed back in his class after that.
Were you placed in another class?
No, because you already, remember back in the day, you already set in a particular class. I just didn't do maths for that.
And the school allowed that?
They had no choice.
Really? If you choose to walk out of a class, I have a choice in telling you, well, if man you want to be man, then it didn't have that.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
I guess they figured something, I don't know what.
Okay.
And then we had two Peace Corps workers. One was a science teacher, one was a maths teacher. P. Raineski was the maths teacher, Mr. Whitaker was the science teacher. He was good. Both of them were good. We realized one day that Mr. Whitaker was afraid of lizards. And the secondary school, for some secondary school, being next to all this, vegetation.
What did you all
We
do?
decided, okay, we're gonna go across and fill our classroom with lizards just so he wouldn't come back. So when he came, stepped into the class, he saw lizards, and he was like, oh my God, where did all these lizards come from? We were like watching him like, okay, he's gonna go for sure. And he left. So we had to reassign a new math teacher. A new science teacher, sorry.
And you were part of that?
Quietly, yes.
Quietly? Underneath?
Somewhat. At the time, yes.
But you pushing, you participating,
Yeah,
you enabling.
Right, Peter Raineski was a reasonable guy. He took his time, he was very patient, and we enjoyed his short time with us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So overall, your secondary school experience was a good one,
yes,
with its own challenges, but you enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yes. And from there,
I went to, I stayed home for a year. Then I went to Clifton Deputy Community College. I stayed there for a year, and then the opportunity to work came up.
okay,
So I left.
the opportunity to work came up,
Yes.
and you left. So Parfini Clifton Deputy Community College.
However,
During
during the time I went to work, I prepared for the exams, GCE A levels. Yes, so I didn't really leave. So on my own, I attempted the exams. And I passed.
But not at
Not
the...
as at the level. Remember, I didn't have a teacher.
Of course, you didn't have a teacher.
So, but I passed. I'm trying not to answer the question of the poll. Anyways.
we can answer
So
the
before
question of the poll.
leaving high school, Cable Wireless employed me. So my
Right.
first employer
is Cable and Wireless.
So
Interestingly, are you going to tell us what
Yes.
it is you were doing with Cable
so
Wireless?
Cable Wireless.
So you were not a customer service representative?
No, I wasn't.
Upati or technician?
No.
Dino style take cafe.
So, and this would explain why I'm not the uppity person I am. Or people claim that I am. I washed their vehicles. So back in the day, if I can say that way, Cable Wireless had an office
In Portsmouth.
A
It's a
very-
huge office.
Yes. And they had quite a fleet of vehicles. So obviously they needed those vehicles cleaned. So on weekends, I did that.
So you actually, Prince, no joke, when you told me, when I asked you and you told me what the answer to the question was, and I asked you, you explained that it was that you were doing. You know what I thought? I thought you were just managing and having people do it. Are you telling me that you wash the vehicles yourself?
Yes, I wash the vehicles myself every Sunday.
How many?
10 sometimes.
10 sometimes?
Yeah.
So wait,
10.
you had your hose and your bucket
Yes.
and
So
your
they pack them near to a public standpipe.
Incredible.
So we did it.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, you can ask Joel. He's your
My colleague.
yeah.
Yes.
So he did that before. He went to Clifton Lepini Community College. So he handed me that
That job.
That job.
And you did it.
Yes.
You physically washed the vehicles.
Yes.
They're gonna say you're lying.
No, they can't lie.
Yes, your friends on there.
Well, Joel York is alive, so he can confirm.
He can confirm, and we'll definitely confirm that with you. So how did you actually get the job or hear of the job?
Well, Joel York lived not too far from me.
Ah.
And then when he was leaving because he was going to live in
Rosal, right.
Kingfield. So he decided, okay, let me hand you over to Cable and Wireless.
And you said no problem?
No, money you going to make wireless.
I don't believe you actually did it yourself.
That money I earned paid for my CXC.
Paid for your CXC exams? Yeah. Your GC you mean?
CXC for I remember I was still in high school.
Oh, it was still in high school you started?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Prince, what we're gonna do, just to break the thing a little bit, interestingly only 5 people answered that correctly.
So much maybe that he doesn't know how to even plug in something.
Yeah.
Actually I worked at my brother's place, which was Codec Electricals. I have 2 brothers who are, should I say, renowned electricians, and I have a nephew who is also an electrician.
Okay.
So I know something about
a bit.
Electricity.
Okay, so let us just open up this thing and do the draw right away while we continue our conversation. We'll just take a quick break after that and allow your folks to type all what they're typing. People, radio listeners, I really could not get this phone going to go live on social media tonight, because that is his platform. You pick it. That is his platform, and you know, Mr. used to siphon people. I don't even want to read what some of these people are writing. Do you have a winner?
Yes. Junior DJ Sean.
DJ Sean. DJ Sean. Congratulations. DJ Sean listens to my program. He actually used to be here with me sometimes in the past year at Q95. Congratulations, DJ Sean. You've won yourself a bottle of wine, Fritz Cattle Wine. Compliments, Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited. They are the agents for Barefoot Wine. I don't know if that was a wild guess for DJ Shan, or if he actually knows that you in fact worked for Cable Wireless, or if you just used this and he said, you know what?
Yeah. Most people said Ministry
yes. Because that's where you've been, you know, and I think people know you there for like forever. Yeah. So when we come back, Prince, we'll talk about what happened after you stopped washing Cable and Wireless vehicles. Keep it locked, we're coming right back. This is the In the Spotlight radio show. Our guest tonight is Prince Saint-Jean, and Prince is the only archivist. He says archivist, but archivist I guess we say it differently. The only archivist in Dominica, and we're going to get to the point where he's going to tell us more about what that is, what his role involves, what does that mean for Dominica, what does that mean for our history and preserving that. So keep it locked, we're coming right back. This is the In the Spotlight radio show. Don't forget, guys, those people are just too much. You sure they are your friends?
I'm quite sure.
The people on here, you sure they are your friends? Okay, we're coming back. And give them their way. All you buy. Oh my God, those Facebookers.
From all walks of
Dominica,
celebrating their triumphs and the tragedies, dreams, hopes, and aspirations.
But I'm sure you all are enjoying the program, though.
Touching
I'm
the
definitely
human
enjoying
personal
it.
side of all people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers, public servants, youth, the ordinary Dominican. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the Spotlight will also spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss
Of course,
In
we
the
love you
Spotlight
bad.
on Q95 FM radio every Monday night.
Oh, you terrible.
In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight.
featuring people from all walks of Dominican life, spotlighting their triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, aspirations, untold stories, touching the human and personal side of our people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers, our public servants, youth, and the ordinary Dominican. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the Spotlight will also spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday nights from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight.
One-on-one with interesting personalities, educational and informative topics and issues, intriguing and entertaining. A must listen to In the Spotlight, Monday nights from 8 p.m. on Q95.
We are back. We thank you for sticking with us on the In the Spotlight radio show. It is Monday, the 12th day of July in the year 2021, and we're having quite a fine time here on the In the Spotlight radio show for tonight. And I think those on social media are even having much more of a splendid time than we are here in the actual studio. So Prince, you shared with us the fact that you actually did some physical labor cleaning the vehicles of Cable and Wireless in Portsmouth, and that one is a bit incredible, I think, for all of us, but I believe you that you actually did that. So from there, where did you move to?
Okay. I also did other manual labor. My mom had a boyfriend who had a farm, both livestock and produce farm. And he also had a boat. So when he went sailing, I would be the one in charge of the livestock and the produce farm. For the produce farm, for the livestock farm, I had to get up early in the morning to get vine to bring for the rabbits, collect the eggs, clean pens. Yeah. So not all that
bougie.
Yeah.
Like they try to make you seem to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that rabbits and their falls.
How long did you do that for, Prince?
Quite a while. So at Christmas time we had to kill fowls, clean them, sell them. Yeah.
So you did that bit of work.
Yeah.
And again, they're going to say you're not speaking the truth, but I believe you too. You would not. You would not lie on Fedine show.
No.
I wouldn't do that. We don't come here and lie. All
so
right.
from
Yes.
there.
From there.
So I began working at the Portsmouth Library. For the Portsmouth Library, at the Portsmouth Library for a while.
How did you get that job?
The librarian at the time was going to Jamaica to further her studies, and they were looking for someone to replace her for the time that she would be gone. And they said, okay, we would like you to take up that position. And I did. So I had to do the whole application and interview. I didn't get to do an interview.
You didn't get to do an interview?
No. How I got the job was a strange way. So the guy I met him like years after, and he said, when all your applications came, I was the only one that was handwritten, and he couldn't believe that a guy could write that neat. And it was like that just stood out for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why did you handwrite the application?
I felt most people would probably type it or,
So you wanted to stand out?
Yes. And luckily for me, it did.
It worked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So when she came back from studies, they were debating if they should keep me or probably place me somewhere else.
Okay.
So between that time, I worked at Skodek Electricals.
Skodek Electrical. So that's where the Skodek came in as an option.
Yes.
I thought that was something you just made
Yeah,
up.
no, so it was my brother's company. So
Okay.
he and some guy from Piyush came together and created that company.
Okay. All right. So you worked.
So while I was waiting for the government to respond, I was at Skodek.
Okay.
Initially they responded and I went back to the Portsmouth Library.
Really?
Yes.
What happened to the person?
She returned from studies, yes.
But
But they wanted an additional person to be with her.
okay.
Because all these years she was alone.
So you didn't steal the lady's job?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Well, she was my supervisor at the time, so I could not steal her job.
Okay. Okay.
So I stayed there for quite a while. And stayed there and stayed there and stayed there. Moved up the ranks somewhat. Then get transferred to Roseau. So I did a stint in Roseau.
Okay.
Went back to Portsmouth.
So these were your time spent as a librarian.
Yes.
And it seems that's all you've done since then.
Yes.
Basically.
Hence the poll numbers for Ministry of Education.
Yes. So is it something that you developed a liking for as time went by?
I was already reading from that,
Yes.
so that stayed with me. And
Yes.
now we're in a whole environment of books, reading, so it made me feel comfortable for a while. Well, not for a while, for the rest of my life. So I enjoyed reading, and I made sure all children enjoyed reading.
So that's what you did?
Yes.
In Roseau and Portsmouth?
Yes.
You played that role. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I'm still there, so, well, not technically not,
Yes.
but yes, I did.
You enjoyed it?
And if that formed the whole idea of being curious as to what is the next step. Yes.
All right. So, so you spent some time, you did that, and you thought at some point in time that couldn't be the end all of it. There has to be something else beyond just being the librarian. And so, how did you get to the point that you decided on being an archivist?
So while I was at Portsmouth, Dr. Gail Saunders, she's a Bahamian archivist, historian. She visited Dominica probably in the 90s, 93, 95, 96. And that time she brought this awareness of archives and the importance of archives to any country because she herself championed that cause in the Bahamas. So we had a workshop with her and something just sparked because of all the processes involved, something sparked with that, and I was like, okay, this is an area I'd like to explore.
So what did you do from there? Did you start reading up on what?
Yes, and I laid low for a while. But then I started doing my research as to where should I go to study. Should I study something else, or should I just focus on that particular interest?
And
It took
how
a while.
long did it take you to?
Some years, and then what really made me work faster towards that goal, I felt because I was helping so many people achieve their goals of earning their undergrad and their grad, I was like, but you can do that too, so why not get going? So I started researching schools that I could go to, and the next thing you're going to learn about me is, yes, I have a master's degree, I do not have a first degree. So I applied to quite a bit of schools, asking that I be admitted to a master's program, and they were like, some were like, you're mad, you must have a first degree.
At least a diploma.
Yeah. So I said, no, never mind, I'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
So a few responded, okay, but that first baby story, we did that.
So what did you do?
I pressed on.
You pressed.
Yeah, so one school in the UK said, okay, we're going to allow you to do architecture preservation.
What?
Master's level. I was like, fine, but I can't draw. They said, never mind, we'll teach you how to draw. I said, okay, I'll think about it for a while. I said, oh, never mind.
How did architecture come into the whole play?
It's the same preservation
Okay.
stuff. So they figured it would be helpful to your country. Yeah. And the school that really responded said, okay, we're going to trust you. Well, here's what you have to do. You have to produce a statement of some 3,000 words. Why you want to study that, why you chose our school, what can you gain from that, what can your country gain from that. And I was like, okay, this is your time to really get at this thing. So I did that. First thing I did was research on essay writing for graduate level. Read the book, looked at YouTube for a while, started writing, completed the assignment, put it away, went back to read more books about that. I was like, okay, this essay is ready. Went back to it with the adjustment. I never asked anyone to look at it. I felt I needed to do this on my own for a while.
Right.
So I did that, sent it in, waited, and
Waited.
And people said that no news is good news. I was very nervous. I was like, okay, they are not going to respond positively. So I forgot about it.
So how long?
It took some months.
Months?
Yeah, and then one school, 3 or 4 schools said, okay, yeah, we're ready for you. So
3 or 4?
Yeah, 4.
4 schools?
Yeah, ready for you. Here is what you need to do to start the process. So I did all that, and I chose one school, which is in Wales.
Why did you choose that?
I chose the school for some selfish reasons.
Okay, that's okay.
There were no other Dominicans there. No other West Indians there. A very white community. And it was a very green, well, it's still green, very green, cold and wet, 24/7, 365 days a year.
Would like that too.
So it's called Aberystwyth.
Okay.
It's a Welsh community. Yes.
And you selected that one over how many others? Over the 3 others located where?
Scotland, mid-central London. Yes.
So they were all UK based?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But you chose this one?
And that school also, Prince Charles studied geography there.
Okay.
And there was this
Prince
propaganda
Charles.
that Prince Harry would come to study geography.
Okay.
There. It was propaganda, he never came.
He never came?
No.
Okay.
So I feel, okay, I should go to this school.
Yes, a school for a little history.
Yeah.
And just a little talk, a little bit, that you could speak about
So there
on
were
days like
about
today.
5 blacks in a sea of white. And we were I was the only Caribbean guy. Everyone else black was from Ghana, Nigeria. Yeah.
And you like that?
Yes.
So did you get a scholarship?
Okay, we get into that. So we get into that part.
Yes.
So when I made a decision to go to that school,
And I remember
I needed
when you
money.
left.
I needed money, so I was like, okay, what do I do? So I approached one financial institution, which is, I don't call it name.
No, it's okay.
And when we did the whole calculations for the funding of the entire thing, because I would have probably eaten my fingernails while I was in England. So I was like, no, okay, this one, cross it out. Then I said, okay, I needed to get something going. So we went to another banking institution. They worked with me. And while we were doing that, someone asked me to apply to the government. That came up positive.
Okay.
So that came back like,
Yeah.
quickly, and
Yes.
because
It was.
archival studies
Yeah.
are on government's priority training
I see.
area. So obviously there were no issues that I would stay or not return or something. So I did all the paperwork, sit down, send back. Then one day an email came from the school saying, we're going to offer you another scholarship.
Oh.
And they said, you need to return this form by midday, well, their time. I was like, okay. I just filled out the form, scanned it, emailed it.
What was the reason for them offering you this scholarship? Is it because you came from a small island that probably didn't have one of those? What was the reason?
I am not even sure.
Okay.
I just think it was divine intervention.
Okay. So you got a government scholarship from here, and you still got a scholarship from the school.
Yeah.
The school scholarship entailed what?
Tuition, accommodation.
So you just needed government money to take care of yourself.
And government also provided my salary because I got study leave with pay.
Oh.
So that was
You were fortunate.
Yes.
You were fortunate.
Blessed,
You were fortunate.
actually.
Yes.
I think it was destined that I really went to study that particular course.
Tell us what it is.
The course or
What it is. What is what?
so I studied
What? Okay. So let us understand. What degree do you have?
a master's degree in archive administration.
In administration.
Yes.
What is an archivist or archivist, whichever way you choose to pronounce it?
Archivist, I'm trying to avoid regurgitating the scientific thing.
Right.
So an archivist is responsible for appraising, acquiring, arranging, describing, preserving, and providing access to valuable or enduring records by the process of provenance and original order.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So in
layman's
layman's term,
language.
we are responsible for preserving the island's collective heritage, be it in whatever format it comes. Dominica's scientific. We are more people-based. A people-based archive compared to the European ones where they have the electronics, all the
digital,
visuals,
and so on.
digital, yes.
Yes. Okay.
We don't have all the collection of varying types. So GBS would have maintained their audio archive, mapping, well, formally mapping, and GIS would maintain their visual archives if they're so doing. But because we are more of a people-based country, the registry is an example of where all these papers are being stored.
Are you currently performing the function of what you studied?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Okay. So we need to understand though how exactly this works. So how are you preserving Dominica's archives? Do you have everything in a room? What are you doing? What is it that you're going to do over the next few years in this whole preservation thrust?
So, because Dominica was once a colony of England, France, records would have been created over the time, over these years. So all these administrators who passed through Dominica would have kept records, bounded them, and stored them for whatever reason, most probably to take back to the UK or to France, but they end up being left behind through some kind of no fault of theirs, and administrators who came after realized that we need to look after these records because they themselves would need to understand what decisions were taken before they came into office. These records provided them with adequate information moving forward.
Okay.
So they relied heavily on these records. Of course, they would know that Dominica experienced with the experienced quite a few hurricanes during the time that they, or before they came into office. So those records will help them to understand that Dominica will face something during June to November. Right. Obviously, other records were created, such as wills, slave registers, court records. The slave registers are somewhat the most popular because people think that they can trace probably their family history back to that. Court records are also important, obviously because you go to the court with the registry for your birth certificate, death certificate, marriage certificate. And if you can imagine if that place got destroyed, what would happen? What would happen to you?
Well, it did at one
Yes, in 1979. So we hope that doesn't happen again. So I think they've started the process of digitization
Okay.
to an extent.
What role do you play in that?
No role actually.
Not yet,
not
I
yet.
hope. But at some point.
Yes.
So where are you located now, and what do you do?
I'm located at the National Documentation Center, and that is the repository for government reports, official government reports, other reports. We make it accessible to the government or other stakeholders who want to research any particular reports or information that will help them. For example, the airport project had quite a few reports done before this initial step to build an international airport. So they would have to browse all the other documents relating to other reports done before they came into office.
And you coming how? How do you come into this? Are you the one?
So I give direction
Okay.
to how we maintain our archives. Yes, so we have a repository where we keep documents stored under certain conditions so as to slow down the deterioration process.
Okay.
We can't stop it, but we can slow it down. Remember, the documents are already old, so they are deteriorating slowly. That's where digitization will come in.
Okay, where are we in terms of the whole digitization of this?
We are slowly getting there,
Okay.
but that requires quite a bit of funding. And of course, government has other priorities that will push us back, and on the back burner somewhat.
Okay. Is it that, with the degree that you now have and your role, is it that at some point you could possibly become the person overseeing, all of Dominica's archives, whether it be located within the documentation center or at DBS Radio or at Cable and Wireless or, any of those places? You don't know.
No, I don't know.
You don't know what's going to happen.
No.
What would you like to see happen?
More cares given to our records. We are slowly getting there. The Prime Minister has said, has lamented that our record keeping capabilities are horrible.
Not the best.
Not the best. But we are slowly getting there, and hopefully, as you asked earlier, we'll get someone who really oversees the whole operation.
Okay. Tell us about the connection between what you do or what you've been formally trained to do now and the job of a historian, for example.
Okay, so we were talking about that before the program started. So archivists facilitate historians. We are not technically historians, but we facilitate them. So because we are involved in the preservation of our historical data, if we were to mess with that, obviously, if we tamper with history, the historians using those records for the research will have a distorted, would have captured a distorted
Distorted information.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So we facilitate. We are the guardians of the historical data.
Okay.
We make it accessible to historians.
Okay. How do you feel about the entire experience of going to Wales? And how long did it take you? 2 years?
1 year.
1 year?
So they compact 2 years of work.
A whole master's degree?
Yes.
In 1 year? Okay. Not having a previous degree?
Yes.
You would think that there would be a lot more to do.
No.
Oh, I remember those pictures of books stacked up, you know, in your dorm, and you know, cups of coffee and stuff on the side. I remember those Facebook posts of you.
Yes, so I had not quite a few, but I had the entire year of sleepless nights. So I would go to the library at 8:30, and crawl into my bed at 7 a.m. next day. Sleep for an hour or two, get ready for class.
Back again.
Because I felt I had to really go at this degree because I do not have a first degree, and I was competing against other students who had their first degree. Some had already have a master's degree. Surprisingly enough, I was beating quite a few of them.
Why did you say surprisingly enough?
Because I tend to not misjudge myself, but be a little hard on myself. I was this hard on myself that I never looked at my grades.
Okay.
I only found out I was doing well when one of the professors said, you're actually doing well.
Okay.
And I was like, for real? He said, yeah.
What was your relationship like with the different nationalities that you met?
Oh, I can boastfully say I was the most loved guy on campus.
Oh, Lord
Yes.
Jesus. You're going to kill them now.
So my roommates there were 9 of us, 10 for our dorm. There were 4 British, 1 American, 1 Jordanian, 2 Chinese and a French, and I'm the only West Indian. So all 10 of us on that level. And we got along quite fine.
So you were the most loved?
Yes, because I was black. From
Because you were black?
little island states. You're from this advanced country. And of course, the things I ate was a little bit strange to them. So.
And what was the culture like? And in terms of the food?
I will say quickly to that because I realized I was going to a foreign country.
What was the food like?
Yeah.
What was the food like?
Bland.
Fish and chips?
Yes. I had quite a bit of that. It was the easiest food we could grab onto. I mean, at university you don't have time to really cook. I did cook, but we don't have time to really cook every day or every week.
Did you ever cook them a Caribbean meal?
Yes.
You did. What
Yes,
did you
I did
cook?
a broth and I did
A pilau?
No pilau.
Okay.
Because I couldn't find the original lenses that we use.
You're right.
It's not the same as theirs.
Okay.
I found the sprats, which is kai.
Yes.
I found that, and I found, they call it long jar in English, zofi.
Zofi.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was surprised. I was like, why behind God back Wales where you find sprats and zofi?
Yes.
I also found coconut, guavas, limes, lemons. Yeah.
Yeah. A good experience,
Yes.
Prince? A good experience. Would you return there possibly?
Hopefully,
Is
I'm
there
looking
somewhere you
at,
can live?
I'm looking at doing my PhD there
Okay.
again. So yeah.
Alright, in the same area.
Somewhat.
Okay.
I'm looking at Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so you're going to visit somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. So
But I'm also preparing for the GRE.
what is the GRE?
The GRE is an entrance exam for graduate candidates.
Okay.
I didn't realize. Well, I didn't know. How should I put it? Don't even know I need to do a GRE.
Okay.
Anyway, so the American system requires that you do a GRE
Okay.
for some universities. So I'm preparing for
I'm
that.
preparing for that.
Yes.
So pretty soon you might be going off again, or you may do it not online.
No, it's not online.
You're looking at
Yeah.
at some point
Yes.
going and getting your PhD. Well, Dr. Saint Jean,
Well, we can
yeah,
get
that
to
would be
that.
something, yeah.
I'll be a normal guy.
That would be
I'm still a normal guy, so
Dr.
the
Saint
doctor
Jean.
wouldn't even be anything
Yes.
to cry about.
So
shout about.
so overall, Prince, how would you describe the journey to this point of getting your master's degree done in a field that you're pretty much familiar with?
It was rough at university because I always tell myself, I told myself, no one in Dominica could help me while I was up there because no one had studied that before. So it was really rough, in all caps, ROUGH. I relied on Dr. Honey Church, material, and my neighbor, who is a former teacher of mine, Joette Fabian. She helped with editing my dissertation, which I almost failed.
How come?
Because
In the mic.
I read too much. So my literature review was probably the longest in my class. So I read too much material.
Oh my goodness.
And I had to now bring that into a real dissertation. So it took me a while to get going. Sleepless nights. At one point I thought I couldn't write it. But then something strange happened. Every time I needed help at the library, some other student who is also struggling would make the time to help me. They were like, okay, I can help you.
Let's help each other.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't help them because they were doing something else totally different from my degree.
But overall, you enjoy the experience and you're happy for it.
I engaged in quite a few sporting disciplines. So, the student president, a white guy, he met me and he said, okay, you're from the Caribbean, so most likely
You can play cricket?
cricket, football, basketball, volleyball. And I looked at him and I said, no,
None of that.
I want to play white sports. So he's like, so I got engaged in fencing, hockey, rugby, water polo. I wanted to try equestrian, and I got involved in lacrosse. Yeah.
Did you do fencing?
Yes, that was my best sport. And because of the dyslexia, I mastered it very quickly. And my tutors was like, you sure you didn't play that back? I said, no, it was my first time. So I mastered it quite quickly.
So you didn't want to play the traditional
No,
Caribbean
no.
sports? You
I dropped out of rugby because
Okay.
of one of the guys. He was huge.
Uh-huh.
And I told myself,
Uh-uh.
one day at practice, they put us into teams. And he was on the opposite team. And I said, if that guy falls on me, I will break 20 bones. So I said, okay,
You wasn't having that.
hockey,
Forget
rugby,
rugby.
although the best. But fencing was my best.
Okay, you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Okay. Prince, you are also involved in quite a bit of other things. And I learned that you were the first Mr. Teen Dominica. I don't remember if we had a Mr. Teen Dominica, but you tell us about that.
So the People's Action Theatre Company organized this show for secondary school boys to participate in a Mr. Teen Dominica Carnival show. So I signed up. Now,
Why?
as I was raised in Antigua, Antigua has a Mr. and Miss Teen competition.
Okay.
It is now called Teen Splash.
Okay.
Right. So obviously, well, I didn't know be in Dominica, so I was making my mind that I'm going to participate in that show. When I came to Dominica, they decided to have it, so I participated. It was a small show, and I won.
How many participants?
There were
4?
4 or 5 of us.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
I think I vaguely remember this.
Occasionally, Mapping would play it during carnival time. Often, I'm like,
Okay.
not so many times.
Okay.
So I had the support of my school. At the time, it was on secondary school, and it was a very tight competition. The preparation for it was arduous, and because the school, the students and staff supported me, it made my work a bit easier. On the night of the show, I think it was divine intervention, because the popular guy was from the same area as Academy.
Okay.
something Emmanuel.
Okay.
His father was a magistrate at the time here in Dominica.
Okay.
So that was the competition.
Right.
And so my friends made sure they prepared very well to beat him. So he was the only competition at the time.
That you saw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Portsmouth.
Yeah, they took about it.
See?
Yeah. The school really supported me on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
What was the competition? What did it involve?
it involved performing talents, question and answer,
Formal wear?
formal wear,
No costume?
speech.
Speech, okay.
Yes. Promotional speech.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright.
For the question and answer, we had to prepare one question and dip another.
Okay.
So we asked the question about co-ed education at schools.
You remember that?
Yes. And for the other question which I did, they asked me, how will you convince someone to come to Dominica?
What did you say?
I regurgitated a paragraph from the Liat magazine, word for word. And that sealed the deal.
The deal.
Yeah.
And that was it?
Yeah.
And you won?
Yes.
What was your prize?
A trip to Antigua.
Oh! Did you go?
No.
A lot of times you get trips for those
A trip to
prizes and they
Antigua.
never happen.
And I regret that I didn't go at the time. You want me to tell you that story?
Yes, please.
So, why I regretted not going to Antigua, I had what you call a sweetheart. So we started growing into that children's spirit. Yeah. And we fell in love, quotation marks. Her name,
Don't say her name.
You can probably say her name.
You can say her name.
Yeah, her name is Kay Samuel.
Okay.
And when I got to Dominica, when we got separated as children, I was like, okay, I'm going to marry this girl one day. Came to Dominica, went through the whole, saved up. When I started working, I decided, okay, I'm going back to Antigua, I'm going to start bringing that relationship back on the cards. I was sorely disappointed because she had a boyfriend and a child.
And a child?
Yes.
So you didn't do your research then?
Pretty so excited and busy.
Oh my goodness.
No. So, but I still attempted to,
break her up? Break up the relationship?
Because my mind was set on that particular person, which didn't work out. So.
And that was it?
Yes.
You left that alone? Prince. Alright. So Mr. Teen happened and you continued getting involved into pageantry.
Yes.
And I know you've worked with many contestants. Tell us what some of your work you've done.
So my first stint would have been with Emily Casimir.
Okay. I'm sorry.
She was sponsored by
One of them wrote something. They said the girl escaped. Tanya Murray, behave.
So she was sponsored by Kilo Wines at the time.
Yes.
And she was first runner-up at that race. So that was my first experience at Carnival Queen competition. And then as the years go by, friends from school, Tessa Hyacinth, Fidel Wenham, Elma Area was adults already. Junior Alcid, Perry Alcid, costume builder designer. We started vibing together and started preparing contestants for various shows. Yeah.
What is it about that attracts you?
You get to use your creativity, you get to use your brain, you get to use your talent. You get to see people achieve something and you feel proud at watching them achieve it to an extent, yeah.
And you think that's a gift that you have, Prince?
Somewhat.
Because, I mean, let us talk about that video that you did for the promo for the show. I didn't see that coming. So when you told me that here is the video, what do I think? And then I'm seeing these beauty products. I'm like, I am about to now reply to you and to say to you, I think you sent me the wrong video. And then I'm seeing, like you or not, you have to give you credit for your creativity. I mean, it was really just out of the. We just got it a little too late.
Yes.
I would have liked. Well, I should tell them it was actually supposed to be since last Monday.
Yeah, so
But anyway, different story
Yes.
altogether. So I was just blown away by the video, and I came back to you immediately and I told you I love it, you know. So I think you're nothing ordinary. You're just not an ordinary person. You clearly go out of your way to stand out, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Not only to stand up, but to, if I'm contributing something to a particular program or activity or a person, I want that to be not only for me, but for the person or the company, that they too can feel they've achieved something as well.
I remember Prince when I did the first Miss Pleasantly Plump and Beautiful, which I've not done for several reasons since then. And I hope that I can do it again, you know, at some point in time, probably when everything returns to normal. I'm done with Yui and all of that, probably, you know, something that can definitely be considered again. And I remember one time saying to you that I would like you to come on board for me, because I was planning the other show. And then you had all of these amazing big ideas, and I'm saying, oh my goodness, Prince Finn can have a band.
I know, I can remember meeting that we were discussing.
Yes. Yeah.
It will be great to have that show again.
Yes, I will.
Some people feel left out.
Yes.
Somewhat.
So it's something that we'll definitely look at in the future, and it's something I'd definitely like to have you on board with. Once I decide to go with it. So I see you have a little bag there.
Yes.
You pull. What? As we were talking about the products.
So the melanin, the skincare product, the video I did.
Yes.
It was, well, while we're doing the video, we have a shoot coming up for the product.
Okay.
A prelim shoot.
Okay.
Because the owner has decided to go big.
Okay.
Initially. She's just waiting on a few things to be arranged and organized. So we decided to do a shoot. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to do a shoot, I might as well incorporate my promo video and link the shoot with the...
Very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
And I also wanted to, you know, promote local entrepreneurs from Portsmouth. So I decided, you know what, let's just do this, come together. And when I explained the concept to her, she was like, okay, she can work with that.
Okay.
So she gifted you.
Oh. So you should take it out and show to them opportunity to promote your product. Well, the client's product, yes. And tell us what's there. So Judy Berry and Anna and Danielle and all the other folks can try to get it. So what is this?
A skincare.
You can show it closer to the camera.
Okay.
Oh, so what is that? What is that and what is it for?
So it's like a lotion, moisturizer.
Okay.
For your face.
For your face.
Yes. This is probably the same thing as well.
Nice. Hey guys, don't be jealous. It's not often people bring me presents when they're coming. So you see, that is what makes Prince extraordinary. Alright? Okay. Melanin Touch Skincare Essential Oil Blend. And this one is Melanin Touch Skincare. It's the same thing, isn't it? Yes. Thank you, Prince. And thank you to the owner of this. What's her name?
Dana Andrew.
Alright, so Dana, thank you. And I want to be one of the first to say to persons that they should support your product. I love the packaging. It came in these beautiful gold bags. Oh, it's almost like I don't want to use them. Thank you so much.
Well, you have to, because
yes.
she'll welcome your feedback.
She'll welcome my feedback. I'll definitely use it.
Yes.
I love the packaging, and I think I love the product as well. So thank you for that. I realized when you put these products at the beginning of the video that you had an intention.
Yes.
And I think your intention worked.
Yes.
And here it is again tonight. We're making it work again to the favor of this young lady. And this is the smart thing to do. When you come into my show, bring me stuff. Let's help push your stuff. Well, people have brought me books, I'll be honest. You know, people who've done book launches. And it's not that I don't bring people on the show that they could send me gifts after or anything like that. But Val Coffee, after Val Coffee came on my show, the next day he sent me a beautiful fruit basket.
Oh.
He did, yes. But I'll accept your gift as my gift.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So I know that you have to go all the way back to Portsmouth tonight. So let us talk about a couple of the other things that you're involved in and that you've done. You've gotten involved in polling, not necessarily politics. Have you gotten involved in politics at all?
I served as the poll clerk, assistant poll clerk during general elections. So that is the closest to politics.
Okay. All right. Tell us some of the other things that you're involved in, Prince.
Quite a few things, but
yes.
I'm not that person that like to.
No, that's all right. That's why we're here.
Yes. So I tutor grade 6 students on Saturdays.
Okay.
In preparation for the general grade 6 assessment test.
How did your students do?
Over the years, they've done very well.
Okay.
Scholarships, bursaries, passes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But my focus is writing and social studies.
Okay.
Yes. I've also assisted students with preparation for the reading competition. And Kennedy Barron stands out for me because she won the Dominica leg and she placed third in St. Lucia at the OECS leg. Yes.
Okay, nice.
So I went with her.
You actually went with her to
Yes,
St. Lucia.
yes.
Okay.
Quite a few voluntary stuff that I do that I do not want to talk about.
That you do not want to talk
I
about.
have this,
Please do.
Dyslexia.
That's no. I understand, but at the same time, there's information that you still need to share. Not because you're trying to be boastful or how they say, don't your right hand will need to know what your left hand is doing or whatever the term is. It's up to you. So I'm not going to push you to talk about certain things. But you do. You do weddings, you do event planning, so they want to know about the engagement that was done at Flow, whatever happened. Did the people ever get married?
They're still together for sure.
They're
They're
still
still planning their wedding.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
They have a son,
Okay.
so they, we had a discussion some time ago as to location and.
Okay.
But why would you do the person's business?
Well, I mean, they just figured,
because the engagement was public.
That it should be about the time that they need to let us know what's happening. We need an update.
But they're still in the planning stage. We're still discussing their options.
So you do a bit of interior decorating, you do a bit of costume designing, costume building, and I see a little bit of choreography.
Yeah, so someone brought that out of me. So there was a competition some time ago, well, a few years ago, where they had the Northern Choreography competition for a couple of years, and I trained with someone who won that a few times.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you really are a community.
All around the community guy. Yes.
All around the community guy. Not as bougie as people think you are.
If you ask me to do something, no matter what it is, I will come.
You will come to my assistance. Yeah. So you're somebody I can turn to if I need help.
Yes.
All right. Prince, anything else that you would like to share with us? What does the future look like for Prince?
Bright, not leaky, but bright. Looking forward to doing big and better things. Make sure that I complete this PhD to benefit Dominica much more than I am doing now. The state of preserving records in Dominica is a bit slow. I need to get on board with the rest of the world to really make that impact and to show that we are modern and in keeping with their standards.
What I would like to see, Prince, is that you are given the opportunity to make use of that master's degree.
Yes, so slowly but surely I am doing that.
Yes, I think that is important. You actually are the first to go out there. I don't know if there's anybody else doing that kind of
And
thing.
that, the question you asked on your post, in the spotlight post, what does it mean to be the first? To answer that question is, I would like to see others come forward and decide, you know what, let's take up that interest, so that the country can have not only one of me, but 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, because together, then it will be easier for you all to get us to that level that we need to get to in terms of the preservation of our archives. So having that, you're not being selfish about it. And definitely you'll be going down in the history books of Dominica as the first person to be formally trained in that area. So that, I think, is a milestone.
Well, yes, it's a milestone because UNESCO reports made recommendations to the island when they investigated the state of archives in Dominica, and they made quite a few recommendations, and one of them, the recurring one, would be you need to have a trained archivist. You need to have a trained archivist. So thus far, Dominica has completed just one of the many recommendations.
It's a start.
Yeah.
It's a start.
Yes.
And you can only go forward from here. What are the questions that you all want me to ask that I may have missed, that I didn't ask? I'm being told that I'm being biased. I'm not asking you the questions I should be asking you. What are the questions, before we wrap things up? Tell me the questions that I am not asking Prince, that I should be asking him. But Prince, I'm going to give you the opportunity, to share some final comments with us as it pertains to your role in various areas. I mean, you love pageantry, there is no question about that. You love creativity, and I can see you love helping others and contributing to others. And very importantly, what you've been able to achieve within a year, not having a previous degree, but coming and doing well and excelling at it, and now creating history in your country as the first person to be home with that specialty degree.
Well, I'm happy that I returned. I was offered a job
You were?
in the UK, and I was offered that job towards the close, or towards the finalizing of the degree, which I declined. And someone wants a question.
Are you married?
No, I'm single and available.
He's single and available.
But you have to be white, very white.
You're into Caucasians?
Yes.
Okay, you got that? Okay, go on, my dear.
Bring back the phone.
Yes.
Okay, yes, so...
You're happy that you returned.
Yes.
You got an opportunity, yes.
To stay. This is a very big job, very big role, but I'm happy that I returned, so that I can influence others to really, take this.
Did you have to return, by the way? Did you have a commitment to the government?
So because I was given my salary at the end of the month for the 12 months out of there, you are bonded by that. So I could have still stayed. I could have remained in the UK if I wanted to.
Okay.
But I would have had to make some arrangement to pay off that bond while I worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I really didn't want to stay there. I really wanted to come back to, as you said, make history one and to really impact what happens in Dominica. My dissertation title says it all.
Which was?
The empty archives policies for the operations of the archives in Dominica. So I actually created policies.
Nice.
A policy that should govern operations at the National Archives.
That's definitely a beginning.
Yeah.
That's a good foundation.
I'm also working on, which is taking a while, is drafting legislation. So I've been reading.
So you were doing that as well?
Yes, quite a bit of reading and researching other legislation that deals with archives and the legality of records.
Okay. All right. So Prince, your final comments. Your final comments.
My final
Especially
comment.
address your friends. Those good friends.
I'm happy that you all could be tuned in. You've now learned quite a bit about me that you didn't know.
Indeed.
I hope that you don't trouble me on Facebook
They will.
after that. But I'm happy I was invited. And I'm relieved, I guess, it has, come to fruition. I'm still a normal guy, not the bougie or pretty guy. And when I walk out of the studio, I wouldn't walk any differently than when I walk to come in. So thank you again for this opportunity. I'm happy that you chose me.
Yes, I am happy
to be here,
that
and it was a pleasure.
You consented.
I felt.
You know, you were a little nervous at the beginning,
yes,
right?
but I felt honored because the persons who have gone before me were really prominent Dominicans. I feel like I'm not even at the level that...
It does not matter. You have a story, and that's what matters. And I'm happy that you could share that story with us. And we actually closing the chapter or the book on where you're from or where you were born. We say, oh, Dominica,
yes.
Dio last Dio say Antigua, but you don't mind.
I'm also Antigua.
And also Antigua. Okay, Prince Seja, thank you so much for being here. We did have quite a beautiful program tonight, and I hope that you get back home safely. And thank you. I really did enjoy the program with you, and I do hope that we will be hearing more from you as you try your best to preserve Dominica's archives. And we wish you well as you try to go out and get that PhD. We'll be there rooting for you. You can be guaranteed of that.
I hope all my fans come on board for us.
Yes, fans.
Fans, sports,
funding. All right, folks, we will be back next week, Monday, on the In the Spotlight radio show. Many of you who have heard of Savage, Savage is a Dominican musician. He's from the community of Grand Bay. I think he lived out of Dominica for a while, but he's currently in Dominica. You see, we do all kinds of people here on the In the Spotlight radio show, and we should have quite a show with him next week, Monday, God willing. Until then, have a good night, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the In the Spotlight radio show. We'll meet again next week, Monday.